स्वागत है स्विलन ग्रॉग की हसीन बियरों की दुनिया.
In this episode, I'm joined by special guest reviewer Roy Boy, and the beer that we'll be reviewing is Cobra, which is 4.8% alcohol by volume. It's brewed and bottled in the United Kingdom by the Cobra Beer Partnership. Now, a Lord Karan Bilmoria founded Cobra Beer in 1989. He launched Cobra Beer when he realised that Britain deserved a better, smoother and less gassy lager. But not just smoother, one that complemented and could appeal to both the lager and ale drinker alike. That's from the website, in fact. This was actually originally planned to be called Panther, but at the 11th hour they actually changed the name to Cobra, thank God. The style is a Euro Pale lager. It uses corn and rice as an adjunct, interestingly. The beer was originally brewed in Bangalore, India, but it's now brewed by Molson Coors in the United Kingdom. So at some stage it's gone from being brewed in India to being brewed in the UK. It may have happened at the time that Molson Coors bought the controlling interest in Cobra Beer, which was in about 2011, but I'm not sure. I was unable to find any answers on that, but I think that it is still brewed in India as well, because looking at Beer Advocate, there is an Indian variant of this that's still in production, but this version that we're reviewing today is brewed in the United Kingdom, as I said. Anyway, I think it's high time that we actually made an assessment of this. But Roy Boy, on your visits back to India, have you ever seen this about?
No, actually I have never come across this beer in India. At least not in the northwest or the east side. It's possible that if it was brewed in Bangalore, which is the pub city, it's most likely that it's concentrated more towards the south of India. So possibly being sold in Bangalore and around about regions.
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious about that, because it was kind of brewed with the intention of being exported to the British market. So I'm somewhat curious about its popularity. And how well known it is in India, in fact.
Could be also something like Foster's in Australia.
Yes, well, that's quite a likely scenario, without a doubt. Anyway, enough babbling from us. I think it's high time that we cracked these lovely chilled bottles of our Cobra Beer open and made an assessment. So I'll let you do the honours, Roy Boy.
Cheers.
Okay, use the old trusty Kegworks bottle opener. We'll give them a pour into these double-walled insulated tumblers that John and Shelley so kindly gave me for Christmas just past.
They look like inverted bottles, don't they?
Yeah, they do look like inverted bottles, and apparently they keep your beer or wine cold for longer periods.
Yeah. Just to show you what an inverted bottle looks like.
Yeah, so that does look rather cool, I must say.
Fantastic.
Anyway, let's make an assessment of the appearance, shall we? Well, the appearance is, a pale golden yellow colour with, a moderate amount of carbonation there. It's not as carbonated as I was expecting, in fact. A very disappointing amount of head. I've just got like a fine ring of bright white head there.
It's very light too, so it doesn't stick to the walls.
Yeah, well that's certainly true. Alright, so we'll just top this up a little. Just a little bit left in the bottle. Okay. And I think it's time that we made an assessment of the aroma. Oh, I just completely snorted that. But that is a good thing, in fact. It really is helping me determine what sort of aromas are present in the brew. Well, I'm picking up a lot of corn there and a lot of rice. Those
not a very strong aroma though. It's very light.
It is, yeah. It's a very faint sort of aroma. I mean, there's
you have to like really go in to.
Yeah. I mean, there's sort of a very faint smell of sweet grains there. And after snorting it, I certainly picked up the corn and rice. And there's a very, very faint smell of grass there too. but you really do have to search for that. Alright, but yeah, I mean, as far as aromas go, I mean, it's, yeah, not really,
Not very strong.
not very strong at all.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, the color and the translucency of the liquid kind of says that's how it's going to be. It's going to be light, and it's going to be
Well,
hopefully
yeah.
crisp.
Well, it's, you know, typical for this style, let's face it. So, yeah, I guess it's, you know, not too strange, really, you know, all things considered. Anyway, it's time for the most important part of the review, the taste test. So, cheers to you all.
Cheers.
Alright, well, the taste does follow the nose somewhat. You know, I'm getting that sort of malty sweetness up front. I'm, you know, picking up those adjuncts there. I mean, it is, you know, very, you know, crisp and clean, without a doubt. The finish is, you know, quite dry.
Yeah.
But, you know, certainly has those, you know, refreshing qualities that you'd look for in a lager. And I think, yeah, I mean, it certainly is something that would, you know, pair nicely with food.
Yeah, it has a, as soon as you have it on your tongue, it has an initial bite of bitterness, and then it just kind of gets nice.
Yeah, there is that real mild hot bitterness that's there, just, you know, for balancing. But, you know, I can't really fault it flavour-wise. You know, I think that this is certainly something that, you know, promises to be very sessionable and, you know, very drinkable. But on that note, it is time for another gulp.
Yep.
I think it's certainly holding that taste profile. I'm not finding it, you know, terribly, you know, watery. It doesn't have that sort of, you know, mineral water quality that you sometimes see, you know, in these brews. Yeah, like I said, it's, you know, certainly one that's going to be very drinkable. One thing that I haven't, you know, covered off is the price point. I actually, it was quite odd, the configuration that this Cobra beer came in. I actually got a 4-pack of 330ml bottles from First Choice Liquor for $10, and they, you know, came in, you know, well, obviously, you know, 4 of them together, like, you know, just wrapped in, you know, transparent plastic, you know, with a barcode, you know, stuck on top of them, which struck me as odd, because typically, you know, something that's 330 mils, you know, comes in a 6-pack, but this was a 4-pack of 330ml bottles, and at $10, I guess that's, you know, well, in Australian terms, that's, you know, reasonably priced.
$2.50 a beer.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong.
That's not too bad. Yeah, I mean, at a restaurant, believe it or not, you probably pay about $8 or $9,
Easy.
you know, easily for a bottle of this.
And some places you can't even buy a Coke for $2.50.
Well, yeah, that's true. Anyway, what are your thoughts about this?
I think it's very much suited for, you know, I mean, if it was brewed in Bangalore and once upon a time it was aimed towards the Indian market, I think it's very, very drinkable in the hot summers of India. Definitely will go down really well. And yeah, it's very nice. It's very nice.
I think it really holds up against Kingfisher and
yeah.
Taj Mahal. Yeah.
It does. And it's got all the, you know, the scales of justice, and it's got...
yeah, that's something that the camera's not probably picking up, but all these, you know, symbols that are embossed on it. It's really quite cool, very, you know, representative of,
there's a
you know,
big
the Indian
palace,
way of life. Yeah.
a boat, and it's got beer written in Indian.
Is that what it means?
Yeah, beer.
Oh, okay.
B-E-R, beer.
Oh. Okay, well that's very interesting to
And
know.
it says Cobra in Indian as well on the label.
Alright.
That's Cobra in India. Cobra.
Okay, well it's I think it's one that's certainly worth checking out if you can actually get your hands on it.
Yeah.
I know that obviously in the UK it would be quite widely available. You know, if you know, Molson Coors have anything to do with it, because I mean the most popular beer in the UK, Carling, is a Molson Coors product, of course. So I'd say that, yeah, this has really probably got a strong presence there. But in Australia, yeah, the first time I stumbled upon it was at First Choice Liquor, and you know, the next time I went back there, of course, it wasn't there. They'd sold out of it. But Yeah, that's usually how it is. Yeah, that their supplies of all the imported beer seem to get depleted before they actually replenish them. Anyway, I think it's time that we gave this a score out of 10, but I think we need to have another gulp before we do so. Alright, well, all in all, I think it's a pretty decent brew. I really can't fault it flavour-wise. I could certainly knock a lot of these back. So, yeah, I'd probably be inclined to give it a solid 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
How about you, Roy Boy?
7 or 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was looking for a beer for a hot summer's day. Yeah.
Now this is really,
I think it's the money versus how cheap it's gonna be.
Yeah.
And what you're looking at buying. So 7 or 8. If it's cheaper, then maybe a 9.
Yeah, if it were about say around the $40 mark for a carton of it, then yeah, I mean, sold.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely a decent summer refresher. So really, you can't go wrong with it. I would say, but it's nothing extraordinary, but certainly, it's a very decent, solid lager, and like I said, I can't fault it flavour-wise. So if you can get your hands on it, yeah, it's certainly worth checking out. So we'd probably agree on an 8.
Yeah.
You reckon?
8.
Yeah. Alright, so an 8 out of 10 for Cobra beer. Anyway, that does bring us to the end of yet another Swill and Grog beer review. So, until next time, fare thee well, all.
Cheers.